Former inmate and Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie believes that a lot of people may have been involved in Thabo Bester's escape. He has been posting on social media today to give his opinion on what could have possibly transpired at the Mangaung maximum security prison. McKenzie served time there almost 20 years ago. Joins us tonight to talk more about the situation. A very good evening to you, Gayton. Grateful for your time. So we've heard tonight that facility in Mangaung described as cruel and inhumane, and you witnessed firsthand what happens there.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. That facility, what has happened now, there's many cases similar or worse that has taken place in that facility. I was in the prison next door, Grootvlei Maximum, and Grootvlei was bad, but this one was bad on steroids. This place is a hellhole. They don't respect the human rights of prisoners. They treat people like animals in that prison. It is corrupt to the core. And I'm not even shocked with what happened with the Thabo Bester issue, because it is a long time coming. And what this Thabo Bester issue is going to do is going to bring out things that's going to make people go berserk in this country, because things that we have known for a long time is happening there. And this might just be the matches that can lit the fire of what we've seen and what we've heard about the Thabo Bester issue.
And from your experience, your knowledge, Gayton, who runs both these facilities, Grootvlei and the Mangaung one? Is it the powerful inmates or corrupt wardens?
No, firstly, you understand, these are two different prisons. Grootvlei is being run by the Department of Correctional Services.
Yes. I was not asking about officially, but I was asking in terms of the day-to-day. Who's basically in charge? Who calls the game? Is it the inmates themselves who have money and access to resources, or corrupt officials?
No, it's a mixture of both. Every prisoner, there's no prison that exclusively gets run. There's no prison that exclusively gets run by prisoners, and there's no prison that exclusively gets run by wardens. It is a coalition of the corrupt and the brutal and the cunning. So basically, can't think of any other way to describe it, but it's never just one grouping. It is corrupt politicians are involved, corrupt wardens are involved, corrupt prisoners are involved, powerful prisoners are involved, people that's connected, wealthy people on the outside call for hits from prison, and they will have somebody killed on the outside by a prisoner that's in prison, and the warden will get money because the prisoner don't have a key. The prisoner will get money, and it will be impossible. Because, when a crime has been committed, a murder, for instance, you start with the people on the outside, because it's virtually impossible to go and say, the person that killed this person is still in jail. Then there's a lot of other questions coming.
Mm. And just on that, when you say, it works both ways, it's with the involvement of inmates who've got access to money and other resources, but also prison officials. I suppose, while we wait for the fact, it's clear in just how the body of another person was basically put in that cell that was set on fire, and no one can tell us who that dead man was or how his body got there.
And that is what basically irritated me, is that the lies that they are telling, and I'm talking about this company that's in charge, this GS4, what they call them, they are not being honest with the community. And I've been looking at this thing. Number one, the first thing we need to find out is, was he killed or was the body planted? Was the body that he got from Gen Hospital or some person that died on the street? To find that out is a 3-hour process. You just need to have a round call. Then that will tell you, was that the inmate? Now we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. So they're covering it up. All you need to do, you put me tomorrow in that prison, and I'll do the round call, and I will, before the end of tomorrow, be able to tell the community of South Africa that this person was an inmate. Why are they not doing a round call? Because a round call will tell them. Number two, they come out here and say, well, we don't know. Well, you don't want to know, because you guys know what has happened. The fire is another issue. I think 22 years ago, there was a fire in jail, and a lot of prisoners died. Now, the person that made the fire is a professional. Because firstly, you got to contain that fire in such a way that nobody dies of smoke inhalation. They just made enough fire for the body to be burned. And the body, it's not a piece of paper that you're burning. Now, they have time. Where's the video cameras? That prison pride itself, and part of its contract is that all areas of the prison can be accessed through camera 24 hours. Who has carried the body around? Who has started the fire? You tell me that the control room that's there didn't pick it up. So a lot of people were paid for this. And I want to tell South Africans, you are being made fools here. They are lying to South Africans. They know the truth. We just want to know, because if you say it's a prisoner, give us the name of the prisoner. The round call can give you that. If it is not a prisoner, how did that body come into the prison? Who was killed and where was this person killed? And where was this person last seen? Because money has been paid here. Thabo Bester played a very small role in this, because not because of he might have planned this whole thing, but in execution, it is humanly impossible for Thabo Bester to have executed this thing. It's humanly impossible. It doesn't happen. All that he did, he planned it, and they paid the people, and they must put every warden there on a lie detector test. They must do the suspect is right there. You just need to know who worked at night, and what your viewers must also know is that prison got a lot of gates. I always wondered when I was in jail, why do you have so many gates here? And every gate got a different key. And there's one key, which is the master key, that you must sign. Only certain people has authority to get the master key. And the people that has authority must sign for the master key. Now you must know if there was a body that was transported, if there was gasoline that was transported to burn the body, it had to go through different gates. Now if the cameras don't tell you, you know the date that it happened, and let's say they got 200 staff working there. You can bring that tally down to 20 staff, which was at work, which was in that block. Now, they are trying to have the biggest cover up. And why I believe that politicians must have been involved, because politics get involved afterwards. Why has this thing not been exposed? Why did it take ground up to expose this thing? Now, that tells me that there were powerful people connected politically that said, don't investigate this thing. We don't want to hear the truth. I want to tell South Africans today, this whole matter is being covered up. Because if they can't even tell us if it's a prisoner that died, if they can't tell us if it's an outside person, something they can find out within 3 hours. We many times when there was an escape in jail, and there was many escapes, and I'm talking about 20 escapes during my decade in jail. The first thing that happens immediately after the escape, they do a round call. And the round call will then establish who's there and who's not there that's supposed to have been there.
Okay.
Why don't they do that? Why don't they do that? Call all the prisoners, because every prisoner's got a card, which is an identification, like an ID. And then you call the name, and the person steps one side. They call the name, the person steps one side. Then you can see. So they are lying to the population. They are covering this thing up because they know this will bring out a lot of other things. But I tell you how the story is going to end.
Okay.
They're going to kill them both. They're going to kill the doctor, and they're going to kill Thabo Bester. Keep this. I'm telling you, the cops are supposedly looking for them. But the cops are the only person looking for them. The people that they have paid are also looking for them. Because the dead people tell no tales.
So on that then, Gayton, just in terms of the network of corruption within correctional facilities and the people outside who are collaborating with corrupt wardens and inmates, is it something that is discussed openly when one is serving time, or is it done in secret? Does everyone sort of know who to speak to if you want to cut a deal?
Let me explain to you that in a prison of 500 or 300 prison wardens, you've got 10 that's corrupt, but that corruption is so severe that it gives the 290 people. The majority of prison wardens I came across are honest, citizens, they just want to work for the children. But then you get what you call the three camp. The three camp is 6, 7, 8, the numbers game, which control all the prisons. Now you get a prisoner that's a 27. You get a prisoner that's a 26. You get a prisoner that's a 28. By virtue of you speaking, walking, talking, acting as a gangster, you're already corrupt. Because being a gangster, just being part of a gang, you sign up to corruption. Because we gangs, all of us were corrupt, including myself, because I was a gang leader. Now, a lot of wardens are corrupt, but the majority of the wardens that are corrupt, the majority of wardens that are in prison are not corrupt. And some of them sees the corruption, but they can't talk, because if a 26 sends its warden to go and commit corruption, and you speak, the 26 gang will deal with you. The 27 gang will deal with you. The 28 gang will deal with you. And you still have the Royal Air Force in jail, which are the guys that escaped. You still have in the big fives, which are supposed to help and inform on corrupt prisoners, but they are also prisoners. Then you still have in some prisons the desperados. So those are the 6. The other ones are not as prominent as the 26, 27, or 28.
Are you suggesting then, Gayton, that the officials who are doing an honest day's work, the wardens, are basically fighting a losing battle? Because in one of Groundup's reports, they said that a warden had in fact flagged suspicion that Thabo Bester, this rapist and murderer, was not dead, and that indeed this may have been a death that was faked to get him out of the facility.
You know, it's like a good school and a bad school. Prison is like that. You get good schools where there's 100% matric pass rate, for instance. Good schools. But then you get those schools where there's only 10% of people that pass because of the management of the school. And the same with prisons. There are uber corrupt prisons, ultra corrupt prisons, and there's prisons where there's got a bit of corruption, but there's order. Now, this prison that we are talking about, the Mangaung prison, is those corrupt to the core prisons. It's corrupt to the core. What we're going to see now, and I would ask the president of this country to really put together a team to investigate this matter. Because you can't ask the wardens to investigate themselves. You can't ask the corrupt cops to investigate themselves. You can't ask your members in the political fraternity to investigate themselves. We need people that are handpicked, because South Africa needs to know the truth.
Gayton McKenzie, good to speak to you, leader of the Patriotic Alliance, also someone who served time at the Grootvlei facility right next door to the G4S Mangaung Correctional Center, where Thabo Bester, the rapist and murderer, we now know, faked his own death last May, but Correctional Services only confirming this following multiple reports by the investigative journalists at Groundup, who've been publishing a series of investigations on this issue.